everyone. Today in the workshop, we are talking about something that we all use, primers. Now, realistically, you can prime a model or a project with pretty much anything. Rattle cans, airbrushes, paint on primers from bottles. There are lots of options for primers. There's generic things that you can use for just about any project. There's expensive, inexpensive, cost effective, specialized. Uh, I'm going to just give a little bit of an overview of some of the primers that I use and talk about why I like using it. Let's get started. So the first one of the primers that I'm going to talk about is what I call the hardware store primer. This is just a can of Rust-Oleum paint and primer that I got at a local hardware store. I think at the time that I bought this, it was probably like $5 or $6 for the can, relatively inexpensive. The thing I like about um, the cost-effective primers is that they're great for big areas. They're also really good for like if you're priming terrain pieces or buildings that have got a lot of texture and not a lot of fine detail. This is perfectly serviceable for applications and projects like that. All right, so the next primer I'm going to be talking about is kind of what I consider to be my workhorse primer. AP Army Painter primers are the primers that I use most often, especially the matte white, the matte black, and the uniform gray. Probably 90% of all of my projects um, are done with those three colors. One of the things that I really like about Army Painter is that they have a really wide variety of colors. A lot of times I'll prime my projects in the color that ends up being the base coat anyway, and that's really, really handy. And they almost all of them, as a matter of fact, every one that I've used so far, they have a really, really nice satiny or matte finish, and they're very smooth. They're very, very nice for a wide variety of textures, details, that sort of thing. So, yeah, these guys are the mainstay of my primer arsenal. The next couple of primers I want to talk about are from AK. One is their fine primer. This is another good primer if you are looking at a project that's got a lot of fine detail. The other nice thing about this particular brand is that they come with a couple of different nozzles, which can be very handy if you're really wanting to control the spray of your primer. Also, AK makes a fine metal primer. If I'm doing, commission for someone and it's an all metal model, especially like a larger, like a 35 millimeter, not a 35 millimeter, larger scale miniature, and they're all metal, it's really nice to have this particular brand of primer because it works very, very nicely on metal. So the last primer I wanted to talk about is my go-to when I want the absolute best coverage and the absolute best performance. Tamiya Fine Surface Primer L is the best primer I have, hands down. If I want to prime something that's got a lot of super fine detail and I don't want to lose any of it, this is the primer I go to. I don't use it that often. It's mostly used for commissions and for huge projects that I really am, wanting to put 1,000% of myself into. If you guys have seen the my playlist on my Klingon Katinga 1/350 scale build, I primed it all in fine surface primer because I didn't want to lose any of the detail of that at all. So that's kind of the range of primers that I use. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And as always, thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.